Okay. Everybody, please turn on your video. Please, everyone, turn it on because we are starting immediately. And sorry, everybody, welcome, welcome. Please turn on your video, please. I'm still waiting for the rest so we can start. Please, if you can hear me clearly, just like wave your hands, please, so I can know. Please, if you can hear me clearly, just signify. Okay, that's good. Right. Um, okay. So we are starting now. Good afternoon, good morning, good night from anywhere you might be viewing this workshop from. Well, we started this workshop yesterday and we spoke about a lot regarding emotions and impacts when writing. So before we start today's class, we are going to have a review of what we did yesterday. We are going to talk about everything we did yesterday and what we learned. But will I say unfortunately, well, I won't be the one to make the review because I want to this class to be very, very interactive. Like I want everyone to join and make an effort into this class. So I want someone to I want someone that can, just give us a short summary, a very short summary, because we have a lot to cover up today and I don't want to waste time on that. So I want someone that can give us a short summary of everything we spoke about yesterday. Anyone? a short summary, please. And anyone that can, just give us a short summary of what we spoke about and what we learned yesterday. Because if you know anyone that's attended this class yesterday, please let them know that we've started, please. Anyone? Ah, no one wants to say anything? Or are you all shy or what? If you have anything to say, you can just, wave your hand and just give a short summary, even if it's a simple line. Anything you have to say about yesterday's teaching, please. So we can start today's on. Anybody? Okay. Oh, okay, okay, praise. Okay, praise, you can go ahead. You can go ahead. Yeah.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good
Can you hear me?
afternoon. Yes, we can hear you.
All right. So, in yesterday's workshop, we learned basically about how to um, take our story ideas and make them more emotionally impactful for the reader. So, we discussed things like what is actually an idea, what is emotions in storytelling, and how we can
husband. He had enough,
emotions
but I don't know what it
through our characters. So we differentiated between what makes a story forgettable and what makes it memorable in the minds of readers. I missed many other things that we learned. Thank you.
Okay, that's very good. That's amazing. Apart from her, anybody? Okay, please go ahead. Yeah, Cheta, please go ahead.
Okay, so yesterday's class, our foundation of yesterday's class was from idea to foundational core. Can you hear me? Okay, was from idea to foundational core. We talked about finding emotional spine, and this emotional spine is mostly the central emotional truth. And it is on idea, which is the plot and the storyline. Your plot in the sense that you're saying, what is this story I'm talking about? What does it entail? That is what your plot is. Then we talked about, especially the question you answered about how to, like, let's say you have a writer's block, how to be able to go, how to be able to move through it, especially in cases whereby you can rest, take a walk, go out, they say interact. Then when you're back, it is even better because I do it. I have a novel up on Pocket FM. Pocket Novel is an app. So what I do personally is once I feel that I can't really remember what I did, let's say from chapter 1 to 10, I go back, I pause whatever I want to do. Then
Hello, can you hear me? I think it's a network
be more
issue.
focused and know what you're driving at. So that is it. We learned a lot yesterday, but this is just like a summary.
Okay, okay, that's wonderful. That's great. Any other person, please? Any other person? Okay, you guys have said a lot. Okay, and the comment section too. I'm going to read the comment section. Someone said something. Said yesterday's class we talked about characters, emotions, and its impacts. We also talked about differences between story and concepts, which is true. So, okay, we also talked about events and plots. So I'm glad we all, remembered everything we spoke about yesterday. So we are going to jump into today's class. Like I said, we have a lot to talk about today. And I want to apologize in advance. We might stay over an hour, but we won't use up to at least 2 hours because we have a lot to cover up and I had to save the best for the last. So if you have your writing materials with you, please jot down things you know you will benefit from because after this workshop, hopefully maybe in March we might have another one. But for now, we won't have any other workshop until maybe in 2 months' time. So please get your writing materials ready and we are starting now. So everybody, welcome, welcome. I'm so grateful that we are here and you guys had to, come for this workshop and make time for this. I'm very grateful. So today's topic is crafts and impact. Crafts and impact. That's today's main topic. Although we have subtopics under this, but this is today's main one. Craft and impact. Then you put a column, and write making stories linger. It's also a part of the topic. Making stories linger. So you all have given a recap of yesterday's topic. And this is also a continuation of yesterday's, but in a deeper level. So now we're going to talk about emotional consistency. Emotional consistency. How emotional consistency strengthens stories. How emotional consistency strengthens stories. This is the first subtopic for today's class. How emotional consistency strengthens today's story. Or strengthens stories, sorry. Emotional consistency means, I'm going to give 3 definitions of what emotional consistency means. The first definition is a character's emotional logic. A character emotional logic remains believable. A character's emotional logic remains believable. This is the first definition of emotional consistency. The second definition is reactions aligns with internal wounds. Reactions aligns with internal wounds and desires. Do you want me to come again? If you want me to come again, you can just wave. The second definition is reactions align with internal wounds and desires. While the third definition of emotional consistency is emotional shifts are end. The N is spelled EARNED, N, not sudden. Emotional shifts are N, not sudden. Am I good to go? Okay, that's good. Consistency does not mean sameness. Sameness, SAMENESS. Consistency does not mean sameness. It means continuity of emotional truth. I'm going to explain this, but for now, we just have to jot them down. Consistency does not mean sameness. It means continuity of emotional truth. Sorry. So now let me explain what emotional consistency means. Yesterday we spoke about emotions, writing and your characters having emotions. So now we're talking about emotional consistency. We all know the meaning of consistency. It means to do things over and over again, right? So when it comes to emotional consistency, it means the more you write your book, the more your book progress, there must always be a what do you call it? A repeat of emotions in each chapter and each event. We spoke about events too yesterday, so you should understand what I'm talking about. So the more you write, as your book goes further, the more you write chapters, new chapters, you must still put in that emotions in your characters till the end of your book. So this is what this emotional consistency means. Now, I'm going to talk about why emotional inconsistency. This one now is inconsistency. Why emotional inconsistency breaks immersion. Immersion is spelled Immersion. Why emotional inconsistency breaks immersion. Stories weaken when one, characters react without emotional cause. These are the three reasons why your story weakens as you write further. The first reason is because your characters react without emotional cause. The second reason is character's tone, tone. Character's tone shifts without emotional grounding. Character's tone shifts without emotional grounding. Why the last reason is since that's your chapters contradict the character's inner states. Since contradicts the character inner states. Now, I've given you guys three reasons why by the time you write your book, as you're writing, your story weakens. The first reason is because your characters react without emotional cause. It's the same thing I spoke about yesterday. You're writing, maybe you're trying to let your readers know that your character is going through pain or going through anger. You need to write it in an emotional way, in a way that it will make your readers know that this is exactly the emotion the character is currently exhibiting. I made an example yesterday. If your character is angry, you can say, oh, their jaw tightens, or maybe they clench their fists, or you can use body language or body movement, taking up a vase of flour, throwing it on the floor, smashing the window, breaking a TV. Is all part of anger, showing your readers that your character is going through this emotional phase. So if you don't do this in your book, your story will definitely be weak. So this is what this part is trying to explain. The second one, the reason is because your character's tone shifts without emotional grounding. That means maybe, for instance, at the beginning of your book, your character might be going through, or let me say, for instance, your character might be happy. Maybe she's happily married with her husband, before the whole crisis comes in. And as you're trying to transition from her being happy and her entering into the conflict phase, you did not you don't write it in a way that makes the readers see how our tone is just like our feelings, how our tone shifts from being happy or being a happy wife to being a sad divorcee or something like that. If you don't show this in your story will get weak. Like your story will like your readers won't want to continue with your book. So this is what this second example talks about. The third one is your scene contradicts the character's inner state. It's almost the same explanation. When you're writing a particular chapter, and that chapter talks about maybe it's the chapter where the female leads, I'm just using it as an example though. Maybe it's the chapter when the female leads finds out that her husband is cheating on her. That chapter deals is all about her finding out her husband infertility. Sorry. So if you don't write the chapter let that chapter have that depth of her pain of finding out that her husband is cheating on her, your story will be weak. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. If you understand, please just wave your hands. That is what this example is all about. So now, readers may not consciously identify the problem, but they feel it. Even emotional logic breaks and trust breaks. So now we are going to go to the next phase of today's class, which is emotion as the through line. THROUGH. Emotion as the through line. Emotion is the invisible thread connecting. Now, there are three things that emotion connects. There are three things that emotion connects. The first thing is the opening scene to the final scene of your book. That is the first chapter to the last chapter. This emotion is like a thread. You know, when you have a thread has the beginning parts and the ending parts. You get. So the emotion is what connects your first chapter to the last chapter. I want to use my hand to illustrate. Maybe this is a thread. This is your first chapter, and this is your last chapter. So your emotion is what connects them together. Because in between this line are the chapters, chapter 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 before you get to the last chapter. So your emotion is what connects them together. You understand? That's why they say emotion is like a thread. It's like a thread that connects your first chapter with the last chapter. Another thing emotion connects is your dialogue. We all know what a dialogue is. When a character speaks, when you put in that inverted comma and you write what the character is saying at a certain time, that is your dialogue. So emotion, you're like when your characters are speaking, there should be an emotion in their words. Let readers feel, or maybe for instance, okay, I'm still going to use the same example. When the female lead finds out that her husband is cheating on her, you can say something like, "Oh, why did you do this to me? Why did you cause me pain? Why did you decide to break our family?" There is an emotion in what I just said, which is what a dialogue. Don't just write, "Oh, I'm after everything," or this. You need to write in something, a dialogue that has emotion. Let your readers feel the pain or feel the tone of your character at that moment. So emotion also is a thread that ties your dialogues together. Why the third thing that emotion ties is action to consequences. We all know that whenever we're writing a book, the antagonist itself, what everybody, I don't know if you don't know what an antagonist is, please just signify. I want to carry everyone along. I don't know if you don't know what an antagonist means. Okay, I guess we all know what it is. For instance, whenever we're writing a book, we all hate our antagonists, like we don't like them because they are the antagonists of your book. So you should show that after everything, after everything the antagonist must have put the protagonist through, there should always be an action to consequences. And when you're putting that action to consequences in your book, there should be emotions in them. Like for instance, now maybe at the end, the husband that cheated on her, maybe the lady he cheated on the wife with, the female lead with, maybe stole his money and ran away, or maybe betrayed him at the end. And the action is him regretting cheating on his wife and trying to get back to her, but she has moved on. That is an action to its consequences. Because you cannot write a story and the antagonist don't get or face his or her consequences. They must. If they don't face that, your readers will be like, "Oh, I just wasted my time reading this book." And as a writer, we don't like hearing such words from our readers. So these are the three things that emotion ties. Now we're going to talk about when emotion is consistent, even simple stories feel powerful. When emotion is consistent, even simple stories feel powerful. Yesterday, I don't know, Praise, if you still remember what the question, your first question you asked yesterday. You asked about how we can balance emotion, um, emotion events together, right? I don't know. That was the first question you asked, yes. Now, this is what I'm going to also say about this thing. If your events are not much, I'm saying your plot twists are not plenty, are not much, but your character, your stories, your chapters, from your first chapter to your last chapter has emotions in them. Your story is very, very powerful. That is what this line is trying to let you know. If you like, I have a great idea. Oh my God, I have a very great idea I want to write about. I have a book I want to write about. But your characters lack emotion, your dialogue lack emotion, your chapters, everything lack emotion. The book is, sorry to use this word, the book is trash. It's just trash at the end of the day, because once readers are they're done with it, they just throw it aside. And what do you do to trash when you're not using it? You throw it away. So that is what's going to be the end result of your book if they don't have emotions in them. So this is what emotional consistency talks about. So please, if you understand this phase before we go to the next subtopic, just wave your hand. If you understand what I just explained now, please just signify by just waving your hand. Yeah, okay, okay. Thank you very much. So now the next phase, the next subtopic we'll be talking about today is why readers remember feeling, not plot points. Why readers remember feelings and not plot points. Plot points. I'm going to read from my notebook so you all can just listen. I'm going to also explain by the time I'm done. The reader emotional memory. Readers rarely remember exact scene, every plot twist, and all secondary characters. I'm going to come again. Readers, they hardly remember exact scene in order, like how you align your events. They hardly remember that. The second thing they hardly remember is every plot twists. That's just the truth. No matter how good your plot twist is, most of the time, readers hardly remember them. Why the third thing readers hardly remember is your secondary characters, like the supporting characters. They hardly remember them. But the thing your readers always remember, the first thing is how a story made them feel. There is no reader that will read a book, and if that book like influences them very well, they will always remember that book, no matter the years, no matter the time that might go through. For instance, now I can say I read this, I don't know if you all know this Purple Hibiscus by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. I read that book over 10 years ago, if not even up to 15 years ago. But if you ask me, I remember everything that happened till today. With all the years that have gone by, that's how powerful a book is, and that's how powerful a book makes a reader. We will always a reader will always remember how that book made them feel. The second thing a reader will always remember is which character hurts them. Which character hurts them. If a particular character causes your reader pain, they will never forget that character. And how can a character cause a reader pain? Is by emotion, because we are all human beings and we deal with emotion. So if a character can hurt a reader, they will never ever forget that book. The third thing readers hardly forget about is which moments stayed with them. If a particular thing touches them or stays with them, they will never forget that scene or that chapter. Maybe, for instance, that this same woman that found out her husband, cheated on her or stuff like that. maybe the scene whereby the woman gets a revenge. Readers will never forget that. Like they'll be excited reading that part, seeing that even with the whole thing she went through, she was able to bounce back. Readers will never forget that. So that is another thing you should also note when writing your book, to make sure that your book is a book or a novel that when your readers read it, they will never ever forget the book. Why the last thing is which ending lingered emotionally. Your ending matters. Nobody should deceive you, telling you the way you end your book does not matter. It's a lie. The ending matters more than the beginning. That is just the truth. The way you end your book matters more than how you start it or how you started it. That is one thing we should know about, because once a reader finish, like they are done reading a book, they just drop the book. Like I can use myself for example. Whenever I read a book that touches me in a very deep way, I just sit quiet and just think or imagine myself in that book. That is the exact same way your readers feel when they read your books. So your ending matters a lot. Your ending matters a lot. That book will never, even sometimes you can just be sleeping, or maybe you're about to go to bed. It will just pop up in your head and you're like, whoa, that's kind of emotion, that kind of feeling. That is what we writers should try to install in our readers whenever we are writing a book. So these are the things that your readers will never, and they will never ever forget about when reading or after they are done with your book. So now we are going to another subtopic. Do any guys like, do you understand what I just spoke about right now? Please just identify. And as I'm teaching, if you have a question, please today write your questions. I am ready to answer a lot of questions. Please write down your questions as I'm teaching. Write them down, because we are going to have 15 minutes of Q&A today. So there's going to be enough time to ask your questions. And today's Q&A session, I will not be the only one answering questions, because I want everyone to be, one in this class. So if you also have the answer to someone's question, you can just identify or signify. But that's by the way. Let's go on with the next subtopic. The next subtopic is plot is temporary, but feeling is permanent. Plot is temporal, but feeling is permanent. This is very self-explanatory, but I will also explain it. Plot is temporal. Your events, they are temporal. Your idea, they are temporal. Your context, they are temporal. But your emotions, your feelings, the feelings of your characters projected into your readers will always be permanent. That is what this is all about. Now, I'm going to read from my notes. Plot moves forward, while feelings settles in. You can write down if you want to. Plot moves forward, while feelings settles in. A reader may forget what happened, but they will remember these 4 things I'm about to list now. A reader may forget what happened, but they will remember these 4 things I'm about to list. The first thing is the ache. The ache. Just like headache. The ache. Just ache. The second is the hope. The hope. Hope. The third is the fear. The fear. While the last is the release. The release. There is no reader that will read a book, and if that book gives them these 4 things, they can never forget that book. You see that ache, like that feeling of I can't put this book down. I must read this book to get to the end of it. I need to know what happened. That is what they call ache. Ache is when they talk about ache in writing, it's not about headache or body pain. No. Ache means that anticipation, that like fall that is always in your readers. I know most of us that write, we also read. You can be reading a book that even when you're going to the kitchen to take a bottle of water or take something, you take that book along and you're reading. Or even if you're in your room or you want to go to the restroom, you're always with that book reading. That is what they call ache. Ache is that feeling that your readers get. That's happiness. That's, that feeling of excitement when reading your book. If your readers can get that feeling, honestly, they will never ever forget your book. And once they read it, you will hear them talking about, oh my God, have you read this book? They will recommend your book to other people to read. And that is the most beautiful part about being a writer. Not just one person reading your book, but you having the people that have read your book recommend your book to other readers. It's amazing. The feeling is both, I'm saying it's well beyond me. So like way I can explain it. But we understand what I'm trying to talk about since we are all writers. You know that feeling of when someone reads your book and someone tells you, oh, I recommended your book to someone. You'll be so happy, you'll be proud of yourself. So if your readers don't have that ache when reading your book, they will never recommend it to someone else because they'll be like, oh, I wasted my time reading this book. Why should I? You know, they won't recommend it. The second one is the hope. The hope is, okay, for instance, when the female lead is going through some crisis, they'll have this feeling of, I hope it gets better for her. Or I hope it gets better for him. Let me read this book to know if it will get better for this writer, for this character. So that's what they call hope when reading. They should envision that definitely this character will get better. That is when hope, comes in. The third is the fear. That fear of, will this character get her happy ending? Will this character get his happy ending? Or will this character get her revenge? That fear of the unknown, because they're not done with your book, they don't know how it's going to end. So if they should have that fear within them when reading your book, they will never forget that book. They will never forget it. Why the last is the release. The release is the feeling that they have within them from when they start your book to when they finish it. So if your readers can have these four things when reading your book, you're good. You are good. And not only about readers, it will even get you more money. It will even get you paid. Because the more reader reads your book, the more your book skyrockets. Maybe one day you become a bestseller, which is the dream of every writer, to become a bestseller one day. So is when you put in things like this into practice. That is when you get to that stage, little by little. So now, this is why stories that are structurally simple can feel unforgettable, because they have emotional honesty. Now, we are going to take 2 minutes break. I'm going to take 2 minutes break. If you want to do something, if you want to you want to drink water, stretch your body and the rest. So this is currently 1:36 in my own time. So in next 2 minutes, by 1:38, we will continue. So you can just go on a 2 minutes break. Thank you. Okay, everyone, we are back. We're back. So please wave your hand if you're ready. If I can go on. Okay, okay. Are we all back? I need to know if everyone. Okay. All right. Now we are going to the second phase of today's class. The second phase, this is a very important topic. Let me say this, out of this our workshop, this is the most important topic that we're going to talk about in this workshop. So please, I need you all attention. I need you all attention, please. Okay. Today's subtopic, this subtopic is called sorry, narrative voice and authenticity. Narrative voice and authenticity. You can put this in a brackets. Learning to sound like yourself on the page. I'm so sorry. I say learning to sound like yourself on the page. That is, you can put it just a little brackets in a bracket. I'm going to read the purpose of this section so you guys can know how important this section really is. The purpose of this section is to help you all to understand what narrative voice truly is, why it matters more than syllabic tricks, and how authenticity, not perfection, is what makes writing feel alive. You all will learn to recognize your natural voice and imitation and write with emotional honesty rather than false polish. I'm going to select everything. So now you can write what narrative voice really is, or what is a narrative voice. What is a narrative voice? A narrative voice is how a story feels when it speaks. A narrative voice is how a story feels when it speaks. It is not fancy language. It is not big vocabulary. Neither is it a complex sentence structure. I will repeat. It is not fancy language. It is not big vocabularies. Neither is it a complex sentence structure. What is narrative voice? Now, a narrative voice is perspective, attitude, emotional ties or emotional length, and the rhythm of thoughts. Now, let me explain what this talks about. Or if you want me to come again, I can. No, come again. Is there anyone that wants me to come again? Okay. Narrative voice is perspective, attitude, emotional lens, and rhythm of thoughts. As writer, we need to know the importance of authenticity. It is very important. That's why most times, whenever you want to write a book, let me tell you all the secrets. Whenever you want to write a book and an editor tells you, submit your sample. I don't know if any of us would have gone through something like that. They will ask you to submit your sample, or like submit a sample is a write-up you've written before. They want to see your writing style. What do they mean by I want to see your writing style? Have you ever asked yourself the reason why most editors will tell you, or maybe if you want to go for a ghostwriting job, or you're not, even if it's not your personal book, you want to do a ghostwriting job for someone. The clients will ask you, please, can I see your sample? Or can I see your a book that has to do with your writing style? Let me know how you write. That is what they call authenticity. Every writer cannot be the same. Every writer, that's why me, I don't stress myself. I write the way I know I am. My readers are going to love it. You must not copy. Maybe if you see this writer, she's selling big books. She has a lot of readers. You'll not be like, oh, let me go and read her book. Let me see how the way she's writing her own book. And you now want to copy the way she writes. You're just, I'm so sorry to say this. You're just trying to dig your own grave. I will not lie to you. You are just digging your own grave. Because as a writer, we all have the way we write. And you should be proud of the way. As long as the way you're writing has everything I'm trying to teach in this workshop, and your sentence is good, your punctuation marks too are good, please just grow your own self. Every writer should have the spirit of authenticity. Do not ever, like, I'm not trying to make this a warning, but do not ever feel intimidated by another writer. No writer should make you feel intimidated or feel like your work isn't good enough. You should be proud of the way you write. That's why I said a narrative voice is about how a story feels when it speaks. You are the writer. You are the one writing the book. Your character, like I said yesterday, your characters, they are your boss. They own you. You're just a messenger. So when you're writing that book, when you're delivering a message, you deliver a message the way you know that your readers are going to assimilate it. Don't say, oh, this other person, when she was delivering a message and she did one, or maybe she used, like I said, like they wrote now, using big vocabularies, or using, you want to, act like you maybe you studied English, or you're a very good person, or you're a very good writer. You now start using big English to write. Even doing English, you don't even know what, or you don't even understand what you're saying. You have to go through dictionary or Google online. Hear me? Sorry, can you all hear me? Can you all hear me, please? I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. My network tripped up. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. We'll get back to this as soon as possible, please. Sorry, my network tripped off. And you're trying to fix it. Please, can you hold on for like 2 minutes, please? I need 2 minutes to fix this, please.
Stomaco. Huh? Huh? I didn't know what you just said. I don't know what to Oh God, I don't know. This is,
So sorry, guys. I'll be back soon, please. Just hold on. The network here is kind of shaky, so they're trying to fix it for me, please. I don't know. Please just hold on, please. We'll be back very shortly. Thank you. now? Sorry, can you all hear me now, please? I'm back right now. Sorry, it's been fixed. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Okay, so sorry. Can you all hear me, please? I want to be sure before I continue. Please, can you all hear me? I'm so sorry. Can I go on? Okay, okay. I'm so sorry for what happened. The network tripped off and they had to help me fix it. So, okay, I was talking about authenticity and the use of, come in, please. Okay. Sorry, can you all hear me now? I want to be sure. Sorry, I'm coming. So, okay, that's good. I was talking about authenticity, being yourself when writing and not copying other writers or other good writers you know about, or maybe going through their books and seeing that okay, this is the way they write, or they do make use of big vocabularies when writing. You don't have to go through that part. You don't have to, write the exact same way they are also writing. You understand? So you have to be authentic with yourself. You have to be authentic with your stories. You have to be authentic with the way you write. Everything has to be about you. Most of the time you ask people, why are these best-selling authors always selling best-selling books? I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say. Please, can we all turn on our videos, please? So we can, please, can we all turn on our videos, please? I just want to be sure that I'm not alone. Please, I need you all to turn on your video, please. Okay. Okay. I'm still waiting for the rest. Please, can you all turn on your video, please? I'm so sorry for what happened. I was not expecting it either, so it just tripped off. Okay. So as I was saying, do not use fancy language. If your first language is not English, oh, I'm so sorry about that, Ella. I don't know what's wrong with today's network, but we will go on with today's class. As a writer, sorry, if your first language is not English, you don't have to use English to write. You can write in your local dialect. You can write because even as a Nigerian, there are lots of language books like maybe if you're Yoruba, you can write in Yoruba, you can write in Igbo, you can write in Hausa, you can write in different languages, even if English is not your first language. So you don't need to over polish yourself. You don't need to over polish you have to own yourself. So whenever someone tells you, I want to see your sample, please, let me see the way you write. When you bring sample one, because most clients they'll tell you to submit more than one samples because they want to see if the two samples are alike. That's why let me tell you all the truth. Main reason why sometimes you apply for ghostwriting jobs and you don't get it. You don't get it because when you submit two different outlines, because most of the time they will tell you to submit up to two. They don't just want to see one, they want to see two. The reason why they're telling you to submit two is because they want to check the writing style. They want to see the difference between A and B. They want to say, oh, is this writing style the same? Or is this one different and this one different? If they see that your writing style is different, maybe your sample one, you wrote it your normal way you are writing, the way you're yourself. Maybe your sample two, you copied someone, maybe you say, okay, I want to write big. You start using big vocabularies. Maybe so you to write she's coming. You have to write something else that makes it look so big. And they will be like, "Ah, is this the same writer that is, is this the same writer?" And once they see that, they won't pick you for that job because they don't want you to be perfect. Your readers, especially, they don't want you to be perfect. They want you to be, or maybe you went to you school in England, you graduated from a university in the UK. They don't care. They don't care. Is what they only care about is how your book makes them feel, how your emotions are in your characters, how the book makes them cry, or makes them laugh, or makes them giggle. You see some people, whenever they are reading books, they're so excited. Maybe they start to laugh, they start to giggle, they coil their toes. That excitement, that is just what your readers care about. They don't care about maybe if you're using big, big grammars to write. They don't care. What they care about is this book really carrying the emotions that a human supposed to carry? That is no reason why I said AI can never replace human writing. AI, you see this AI, it can sometimes I don't smile because I also employ writers to work for me. And whenever I tell them submit your sample and they submit a sample and I see that it's written by AI, I don't pick them. I don't give them the job. Why? It's not like I'm wicked or anything, but I know that you're using AI to write. Why? Why are you using AI to write? Because if you use AI to write, I will tell you the honest truth. You are making
Sorry,
yourself
I'm not blaming.
dollar. So please, can everybody turn off your
Um,
audio, please? You're making
mm,
your brain dollar. You're making yourself dull. You will not be able to improve in your writing. Your writing will just be in shambles. I'm sorry to use this word. If you use AI to write, you can never develop as a writer. The main reason why people tell you write, use your head to write. It's like they want to punish you
like,
or they don't want you to deliver your work at the right time. It's because they want you to grow. Because the more you write, writing is just like you practicing, sorry. And practice makes perfect. So they want editors. Editors are not wicked. So then whenever I see comments like, "Oh, this editor is wicked, she's always rejecting my book," she has a reason. And I'm trying to tell you guys the secrets. These are the little secrets. They know when you use AI, even
some of
if
just
you oh, sorry,
keep
someone is
going.
talking at the background. Can you turn off your speaker, please?
This
Sorry, please. Can you turn off your speaker? Okay. Even if your book, maybe, sometimes they say, even if you want to identify an AI written book, is when, when you type in ChatGPT, ChatGPT always gives this dash symbol. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, just crazy. It gives this dash symbol. Some people say, "Oh, when I remove that dash, they will know that's AI." They will still know. These editors, they're smart. They will know that you use AI. How will they know that you use AI? It's not about them using AI tools to check. So then they don't need to check with AI tools, with their eyes and their experience. They know that this book is written by AI. Why? The main reason is because there is no emotion. AI will never write with emotions for you. They will just scribble down some words, you just copy and paste. And you are even doing yourself. Number one, you will not develop your writing skills. You will not be smart as a writer. You will not even, maybe if for instance now, AI should go away and you write a book, your book will be meaningless because you just be like, "Ah, what is this?" You will not grow as a writer. So that is another thing about authenticity. You have to be authentic. Be yourself. Be yourself. Don't just say you want to be like Wole Soyinka. You go and read Wole Soyinka book. You see that Wole Soyinka is writing big, big grammar. You say, okay, since Wole Soyinka is writing big, big grammar, let me write the way Wole Soyinka is writing. You just write rubbish. Or you write something out of the plot that your readers, they will not connect with your characters emotionally, and that book will automatically becomes a flaw. And why do you want to write a flaw as a writer? There is no point in that. So not to waste too much time on this topic, but I don't know if you understand what I just mean by authenticity. Because if you understand, you just wave your hands. If you understand what I mean by authenticity, please, I just want to make sure before I go to the next phase. Now they say now the next topic, the next sorry, it's not the topic, it's still under authenticity though. But the next phase is sorry, I just want to read this out from my notebook. It's still under it before we go to the next phase. It is the personal behind, is the personality, sorry. It is the personality behind the words. Two writers can describe the same events. Listen to this, please. Two writers can describe the same events, yet the voice will make each version feel completely different. This is what they call authenticity. Two writers can never write the same way. They might give you a certain plot and tell you, okay, write a chapter on this prompt, sorry, on this prompt. And they give that same prompt to another writer, write on this prompt. When you submit yours and the writer submits his or her own writing or book, the editor herself will look, it can never be the same, even if it's the same story prompts. That is what they call authenticity. You having the way you write. Develop your own writing skill. Write the way you want to write, not the way another writer writes. So they say voice is how the story sees the world, but how impressive the writing sounds. Now, this is a subtopic. Write why voice matters. Why voice matters. Voice, I'm going to say 4 reasons, like 4 things that voice does. What's voice when writing? What it does. Number 1, voice creates intimacy with readers. It creates intimacy with readers. The second is that voice builds trust. Voice builds trust. The third is voice makes characters feel real. Voice makes characters feel real. Can I go on? The last is voice distinguishes one writer from another writer. Voice distinguishes one writer from another writer. Readers may forgive simple prose, but they rarely forgive a voice that feels false. Readers may forgive simple prose, Prose, but they rarely forgive a voice that feels false. Sorry. So if you go and write, voice is just, when you talk about voice, voice is not what your characters are saying or their dialogue. This is the voice, it means the way you write. So if your voice is not even how it's supposed to be, your authentic self, readers will be like, this writer, she's a copycat. They'll call you a copycat, or they'll call you you're just living a fake life or a false life. Sorry. So this is what voice is all about. Now the next subtopic is finding your natural writing voice. I'm going to tell you how to find it. Finding your natural writing voice. Your natural voice already exists. Your natural voice already exists. And it appears when you stop trying to impress. This is the first point. Your voice will always appear, number 1, when you stop trying to impress. You don't write to impress. You write to tell a story. You don't write to make people feel that you are the best writer. Oh my God, if you read my story, let me use that word. You don't write for that reason. You write because you are a messenger. You want to tell a story. Your characters have the story. You are just the one telling their story on their behalf. So that is the reason why you should write. You're not writing to impress anybody. The second is it appears when you write the way you think. When you write the way you think, this will also help you to find your natural voice. The third reason is you focus on meaning, not technique. You focus on meaning and not technique. I'll read this from my notes. Often, writers lose their voice when they try to sound like another author. Writers lose their voice when they try to sound like another author or try to copy authors or writers that they admire. When you try to copy another writer, you are automatically losing your voice as a writer. And the third reason is when they over edit early drafts. Maybe a draft is when you have your first, whenever you're writing a chapter, you have to first write the first chapter. Before you write that first chapter, sorry, no, before you upload or you publish that first chapter to the site or anywhere you're publishing it, you have to go through it to make corrections, to make an edit. If you over edit is maybe you say that, okay, you write, maybe you've written something that has to maybe a small word that has the same meaning. You'll not be like, this word does not look professional. Let me put a bigger. Maybe you go to Google and you write, and what's the synonyms of this or of this word? Then you replace that simple word that will even be very, very okay for your book. You will now replace it with a big word. It doesn't make any sense. So when you do all these things, you will definitely lose your voice as a writer. So now I'm going to tell you that this is a simple test for your authentic voice. You're not going to submit the test to me. You're going to just submit it to yourself. But it's important for you to write this down because at the end of today's class, you can go through it and ask yourself some questions. So the first question, just write, the subtopic of this is a simple test for your authentic voice. A simple test for your authentic voice. The first question is, does this sound like something I would actually think? Does this book or does this writing sound like something I would think of before I write? That is what the first question you want to write. Does this sound like something I would actually think? The second is, would I explain this moment this way if I were speaking? Would I explain this moment this way if I were speaking? Why the third question you should ask yourself is, does this sentence feel forced or natural? Does this sentence feel forced or natural? So after today's class, ask yourself these questions, and this will help you to improve your authentic self. Now, avoiding imitation and overwriting. This is another subtopic. Ways to avoid imitation and overwriting. That's ways to avoid imitation and overwriting. Many writers begin by copying styles they admire. Many writers begin by copying styles they admire. This is natural, but dangerous if it becomes permanent. What it means by it's natural is, if you're a first-time writer, if you're a beginner, definitely you see a book you like, you'll be like, oh, I like the way this writer wrote a book. I want to be like her. It's a natural feeling because we all want to develop ourselves. But when you're not a writer, you start writing, you would not have to go through that writer's book and start to write exactly the way she's writing, or maybe the way her writing style is. That is when it becomes dangerous. It is not a bad thing to admire a writer. When you finish it, you'll be like, oh my God, this writer, she writes so well. All her stories are so interesting. It is natural. Because even readers too, whenever they read your book, they admire your work. But it is dangerous when you start copying the writing style of the reader, or sorry, of the writers that you admire. That is another thing. Now, imitation leads to, I'm going to mention 3 things imitation leads to. Number 1, it leads to loss of individuality. Sorry. Loss of individuality. The second one is inconsistent tone. Inconsistent tone. The third one is writing that feels technically good but emotionally empty. Writing that feels technically good but emotionally empty. Your writing can be perfect, but when there's no emotion in it, Because there's no way you want to copy somebody and you put emotions in your book. It's not possible. There will not be any emotions in that book if you want to copy someone else's writing style. So this is what imitation leads to. Now, another subtopic is what is overwriting. I want to explain what overwriting is. What is overwriting? Overwriting happens when emotion is exaggerated instead of being felt. Overwriting happens when emotion is exaggerated instead of being felt. Instead of your writers to feel emotion, the emotions of your characters, they feel like it's exaggerated. That is when overwriting comes in. When you're writing a story and you're trying to describe how your characters are feeling, please do not over exaggerate. Don't overwrite. Maybe you want this my writer that they must feel this, so do not over exaggerate it. That is when overwriting comes in. Now, the second one is overwriting happens when language draws attention to itself. Overwriting happens when language draws attention to itself. What this means is you are writing big vocabularies. That book will just be all about your vocabularies. It's just be about the words you're writing because readers don't have the time to, whenever they see a big language or a big word, they want to go to dictionary or go through Google to check. They don't have that time. They just want to read a book that flows, that is easily written, that they can understand what it means. I know we all might have struggled with this. Maybe you're reading a book and you see a one kind of like a big word there, you have to pause and go and check what that word means. Readers, most of them don't have time for that. So why would you want to go through that stress instead of you writing your normal simple words that they will read and flow along with your book? That is, so you trying to what do you call it, to use your language instead of your emotions, your book becomes an overwritten book. This is when overwriting comes in play. The third is overwriting happens when every sentence tries to sound important or perfect. Nobody is perfect. Your readers will never judge you if your book does not have that perfection. They're not looking for you to be perfect. They're just looking for you to write a book that they enjoy. So if you are so focused on, oh, my book must be perfect, my book must be perfect, you now start to overwrite, or it becomes dangerous. So this is what this one talks about. The next one is overwriting often comes from insecurity, which is the truth. Overwriting comes from insecurity and lack, not sorry. Overwriting comes from insecurity, and not lack of talent. You have the talent, yes, you're a writer, you are born with that talent. Some people have acquired it. Some people are lucky that it's a talent from them. They didn't learn it. Some people don't learn writing, they just know how to write. They love writing. That is when it comes, that's when it's a talent. Some people had to learn it, that's when it's a skill for them. But that does not make your writing perfect. Because even if you have that talent or you have that skill, it shows that you are insecure about your writing. And that's when writing comes in play. Now, I'm going to tell you guys how to pull back. This is a subheading, how to pull back. That is how not to overwrite when you're writing a book. The first thing to do when writing is shorten your sentence or shorten your sentences. Shorten your sentences. The second is remove unnecessary metaphors. You don't need to put metaphors in your book to make your book look original or look perfect. Don't put too much metaphors. I don't know if any of us know what a metaphor is. Don't put the metaphors in it. So avoid and remove unnecessary metaphors. The third is let emotion exist without explanation. You don't have to explain emotions. Once you write your book in a way that your readers, oh, I'm so sorry, Cheta, your battery is low. Okay, no problem. If your phone dies, you can, watch the recorded session on YouTube. As I was saying, remove unnecessary metaphors and let emotion exist without explanation. You don't have to explain your character's emotion. As long as it is written in a very right way, that is self-explanatory. They don't need to explain it. While the last one is say less, not more. You need to say less. You need to say less. Let your character's dialogue speak for you. Do not over narrate. Don't over narrate your book. Readers, they like seeing when two characters are talking. But when it comes to the part where the writer herself is narrating, they feel bored. They want to see. So imagine you writing more of narrative words than more of dialogue. They will lose interest in your book. So say less. As a writer, say less. Let your characters speak more than you. So now, another subtopic is writing with honesty instead of perfection. Writing with honesty instead of perfection. Perfection kills voice. Like I said, what is voice? Voice is the way you write. Whenever you hear voice when it comes to writing, it's not about your character speaking. So next time, whenever maybe anytime you hear about voice, voice means the way you as a writer writes. So perfection kills voice. When writers aim for perfection, they censor emotions, number one. When writers aim for perfection, they censor emotions. The second thing is when writers aim for perfection, they flatten vulnerability. They flatten vulnerability. The next one, when writers aim for perfection, they lose intimacy. Sorry. They lose intimacy. Now, honest writing, you can write this down. Honest writing allows imperfection. Nobody is perfect. So there's no way your writing should be perfect. And an honest writing allows imperfection. That's the first point. The second point is an honest writing accepts emotional messiness. Your character's emotion should be messy. Like messy means messy. That's what I'm talking about, not other messy. Messy, like it should be messy. So when your writing has this, it's an honest writing. And the last one is honest writing prioritizes truth over being polished. You don't have to be polished. You don't have to be one big writer. As long as your writing prioritizes truth and emotions, that's good. You're good to go. You can revise honesty, but you can never revise emptiness. You can revise honesty, but you cannot revise emptiness. So we are done with this part of today's workshop. But we still have another topic to talk about, but we are done with this authenticity. And we'll be going to the next one. And this next one will only last for 10 minutes. So before I go on, please, if you're not, no question now, you can just down your questions. You will ask the questions towards the Q&A section. But if you understand this authenticity part of today's class, please just signify so I can go on to the next phase. If you understand this part very well when it comes to authenticity, please just wave your hand and just let me know. Oh, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Now, the last part of today's, this is the last topic for today. Please write it down. This is today's last topic. Is saying more with less. Sorry, subtext. Subtext. Start with subtext. Saying more with less. Subtext. Saying more with less. Now, you can write this in a bracket. Letting emotion live beneath the words. Letting emotion live beneath the words. Now, the purpose of this section is to introduce subtext. you're going to learn about what a subtext is to introduce subtext, the emotional meaning beneath dialogue and action. I'm going to extend this. I'm just reading from my notes. You guys will learn, sorry, participants will learn how to restrain, silence, and implicate engaging readers more deeply than direct explanation. I'm going to come back to this, but we all can write this quickly as I'm trying to, finish this on time. What is subtext? This is a subheading. What is subtext? Subtext is what is felt but not spoken. Subtext is what is felt but not spoken. You can continue writing. Subtext is also the emotion beneath dialogue. Is the emotion between dialogue. It's also the tension between actions. Subtext is the tension between, subtext is the tension behind, not between, behind actions. Behind actions. And the last meaning of subtext is, it is the truth characters avoid saying. In real life, people rarely say exactly what they mean. Strong fiction reflects this reality. So I'm going to explain what a subtext is. When you hear the word subtext, it is that inner feeling your characters feel, but they don't say it out. So since they are not able to say it out, it is their emotions that will project that subject in them. That is what the subject is. It is that inner feeling. Or maybe, for example, now you're having a confrontation with someone and someone says something that hurts you. Sometimes you might want to, say yours back, or maybe, attack back. But you just feel like there is no need. That inner feeling within you of you saying, I just need to let it go, there's no need. That is a subtext when it comes to fiction writing. So instead of you saying, oh, you're insulting me, you're calling me names, trying to fight back, in your mind, you just be like, I am sad, but I'm going to let go. So instead of you saying your character's words, you as the writer, you have to write it. Oh, when this social character insulted this character felt bad. This character felt betrayed. This character felt hurt. You writing that emotion of or how that character felt at that exact same time, that is a subtext. Subtext is what most of the time your characters don't have to say it, but they just have to feel it. So you as the writer, we have to write down what they feel or how they feel at that particular time. That is a subtext. So I don't know if you understand what I just explained what a subtext is. That is a subtext. Now, the next thing is why subtext matters. You can write this down. Why subtext matters. Subtext makes scene feels real, or subtext makes chapters feels real. It makes your chapters feels real. The second is subtext respects readers' intelligence. Subtext respects your reader's intelligence. The third is subject creates emotional tension. Subject creates emotional tension. While the last one is subject encourages reader participation. Subject encourages reader participation. Readers lean in when they are allowed to infer meaning. So subject, this is the reason why your characters having a subtext really matters. Now, another subheading is writing what characters don't say is still under subtext. That's what it's. You are writing what your characters are not saying, but how they feel. That's the subtext. So now, writing what characters don't say. Characters often avoid truth because it is too vulnerable, number one. They avoid truth because it is too vulnerable. They avoid truth because it risks rejection. Nobody wants to be rejected. So instead of them to project that they're feeling, they just swallow it. Why? Because they feel if I should say the way I feel, maybe it can lead to me getting rejected or me feeling bad or me having this emotion that they don't want to have. So they feel that they don't have to say anything. That's when your characters keep quiet. The third one is characters often avoid the truth because it exposes their fear. Instead, your characters, they try to change the topic. We all do this too as humans. Maybe when someone is trying to talk about something that we don't find comfortable with, we try to change subjects. So your characters also portrays that same traits. Also, your characters, they try to say something neutral. They focus on tribal details. And this avoidance is where emotion is. So your characters saying less and the emotions showing better or showing more than their words, this is a subtext. Now, example, let me give you an example so you guys can understand what I'm saying better. Instead of saying, I am angry because you left me. It's an example. Instead of a character saying, I am angry because you left me, your character will say, did you water the plants while you were gone? They don't want to say what they feel. They don't want to say the exact. So they just say, I am angry because you left me. They're trying to say the truth. They're trying to pour out their emotions, but they are scared of pouring out their emotions. So they will change the topic. They will make it neutral. So they're saying, oh, I am angry because you left me. They will not say, did you water the plants while you were gone? It's still the same thing, but it's a subtext because they're not saying exactly how they feel. They twisted the word, but them twisting the word, it has the same meaning. The emotion exists in this meaning, but it is what? It is unspoken. It is unspoken. Please let me know if you guys understand what a subtext is before I go forward. Okay. Now, we are going to talk, it's still under the same subtext topic, using silence, gesture, and implication. This is a subtopic, so you can write using silence, okay? Using silence, gesture, and implications. Now I'm going to just read through. So if you can write, you can write. If you don't, I'm not going to read through this because we have to finish up very soon. So I'm going to read this through, and subtext appears through pauses. They appear through body language. They appear to and through small actions and what is noticed or ignored. A character folding laundry aggressively. That's what I'm trying to say now. Example is a character folding. Let me say you're angry. That character is angry. But it's not the character to let you know that they are angry. They fold. Let me say they are doing laundry. You don't have to fold the clothes gently. I know when you're folding laundry, instead they are doing it aggressively. You will know that this character, he or she is angry, but they are not projecting it out. They're not saying it out. Instead, they are using their body language to let you know that this is how they feel. So now, example is a character folding a clothes aggressively. She's folding the clothes. She's angry, but she's not saying it out. She's not telling you that she's angry. But using the way she's folding that clothes aggressively, you will know that this character is definitely angry. The next point is avoiding eye contact. Maybe she's sad or she's feeling somehow. She will not be able to look, or he or she, sorry, I'm using she. She's sorry, I'm using she. I'm not trying to just instead of them, let me use the word them. Instead of them to look you, like make eye contact with you, they won't be able to do it. Are you seeing that they're not making eye contact to you? You know that, okay, well, this person is feeling somehow, or this person is going through an emotion that they don't want to talk about. And the last one is standing too close or too far. This is also an example to portray a subtext. They are not saying how they feel. Instead, they're using their body language to talk. So this is what a subtext is. So when writers explain everything, readers become passive and emotions feel forced. Do not over exaggerate. Do not over explain when writing. Use your dialogue more than your narrative. So when writers restrain, when writers restrain, readers engage emotionally. The meaning feels earned, and the scene or the chapters linger longer. So this is how to keep your reader engaged. This is how to keep your reader engaged. Do not over exaggerate, and do not make your chapters to be too tight or to be too filled with so much narration. Make use of your dialogue more than your narration. This is what this subtext is all about. Examples, I'm going to give you guys examples. Examples of subtle but powerful writing. A goodbye that avoids the word goodbye. Instead of you to say goodbye, you use another word to replace goodbye. A smile that arrives too late. A character fixing something broken instead of addressing a relationship. A quiet moment stretched by hesitations. All these are examples of how to use your emotions more than your words. Now, this is a key takeaway. This is just a point. You can write this down. When you're writing, you can just remember. This is a key thing. Can you all hear me, please? The network today is so bad. Sorry, can you all hear me, please? Today's network is just so bad. I'm so sorry. Can I go ahead? Please, can I go ahead? We are
Yes,
almost
we
done.
can hear you now.
Okay,
Yes,
that's good.
ma'am.
Okay. So sorry. The network today is just so bad. So as I was saying, this is a key takeaway. You can write this down. Subtext is emotionally meaning beneath words. Subtext is emotional meaning beneath words. Subtext is unsaid, often matters more than dialogue or narrative. The next one, silence and gesture are powerful tools. This is just a key takeaway. This is just what you can, remember when you're writing. Silence and gestures are powerful tools. The next key takeaway is restraint increases emotional impacts. Restraint increases emotional impacts. While the last one is trust the reader to feel what you imply. Trust your readers to feel what you imply. Write, and when you're writing, you should trust that your readers will definitely understand the message you're trying to portray or your story you're trying to portray. That's what this means by trust the reader to feel what you imply. You don't have to overwrite. You don't have to, overstretch maybe if your characters are angry or something, maybe a scene, you're writing is a particular hot scene in your book. You don't have to overwrite it. That's exaggeration. And it's going to be very boring for them because just like you're going to repeat. There's going to be a repetition of your words. And readers, they don't like repetition. They just want you to just hit the nail on the head. They want you to go straight to the point. So instead of you to over exaggerate and over repeat because you're trying to let your readers, see or feel how your writers are or your characters are, there's no need for that. Just a simple message is enough. As long as that message portrays emotions, you're good to go. You don't have to over exaggerate when you're writing. You don't have to exaggerate in writing. So we are almost done with today. So this is the last, this is still the last part. So this part, I'm going to read them through. And once I read them through, I'm going to explain. So you can write crafting impactful scene and ending. This is the last topic. Crafting impactful scenes and how to end your book perfectly. This is what we're going to use to close this workshop. Crafting impactful scenes and ending. You can write this in a bracket. Making moments matter and letting stories echo. Making moments matter and letting stories echo. Can I go on? Okay. This section helps participants to understand that scenes and ending are not about filling pages or typing every thread neatly. They exist to create change, deliver emotional turning points, and leave space for the reader to continue feeling the story even when it ends. I'm still going to explain. I'm just reading from my notebook. Now, writing scenes that changes something. Every scene must alter the story in some way. A scene should not exist only to provide information. A scene should not exist only to move characters physically. A scene should not exist only to fill time between important moments. Instead, a strong scene changes a belief, a relationship, a decision, and an emotional state. If a scene ends exactly as it begins, it likely doesn't belong. What this means is end your book in a very good way. Do not end your book the way your book started. Let the ending of your book be like a summary of everything you've written from chapter 1 to the last chapter. Your end, like I said yesterday, your ending matters more than your beginning. The way you end your book matters more than the way you started it. That is just the truth of writing a book. So your ending should have all the emotions put together and be very, very, very good for your readers to remember your book. Now, this is a question to ask every scene. This is just like a question you can ask yourself when you're writing. The first question is, what does my character want at this moment? What does my character want at this moment? You can drop this down. You can ask yourself when you're writing, what does my character want at this moment? Number two is, what emotion is at stake? What emotion is at stake? The last one is, what shifts by the end of the chapter? Now, I want to read this. Change does not have to be loud. A quiet realization can be powerful as a dramatic confrontation. When you are ending your book should be quiet. What I mean by quiet is, do not end your book with a drama. Do not be dramatic when ending your book. Your book should have this, oh, it's the end. You know, when you're reading a book, when you're coming to an end of like the end of something, you know how you feel relief. That relief should be there. Do not write your ending like as if the book has a continuation. Or maybe you'll just be like, I want to put a suspense. Why are you putting a suspense when it's the end of your book? Doesn't make sense to me. You see something, unless if maybe your book is a series, that's a different case. You're writing a series, that means there's a continuation. But as long as that book is that's the final end of the book, the whole book you've been working on, let it have relief. Let the characters feel that this is the end of this book. Don't be dramatic. Don't let that ending part have a lot of drama in it. And like I will always say this. I said this yesterday. I said this today, and I'm saying it again. Your characters own you. This should be your mentality when you're writing a book from today upwards. Make sure that you have this belief that your characters are your boss. Don't ever forget this. Your characters, they are your boss. So that's why when you're writing a book, write the book in a way that your characters want you to write their story. You are writing the story for them on their behalf. You are just a servant. Let me use the word. Or yeah, maybe you're just an errand person, an errand boy, an errand girl. So write that book in a way that makes them know that you are just here to just write their stories for them, but they are the owner of that story. So this should always come to your head whenever you're writing a book. And when you have this mindset, when you're writing your book will be perfect. You will write that book in a way that it will feel like as if the characters are alive. That your characters will definitely come alive if you have this mindset that you are just a messenger. That is not your story. So don't go and overdo. That story is your character story. So write it the way your character wants you to write that story for them. This should be your mindset when you're writing your book and towards the ending of your book. Towards the ending of your book. Now I'm going to read this through because it's the last part of today's class. So I just want to read everything through and narrate. Sorry, and explain. An emotional turning point is the moment a character understands something new, the moment a character loses something they relied on, the moment a character gains clarity, even if it hurts, and the moment when a character makes a choice they were avoiding. Turning points often arrive subtly. Now I'm talking about emotional turning points. Sorry, I didn't specify this. This I'm talking about is just emotional turning points now. I say a turning point often arrives subtly after a pause before a response. That means before your character responds to some certain dialogue, there should be a pause between two dialogues. Let them think of the next thing they are going to say or what you are going to write on their behalf. You understand? It's a line that lands differently than expected and a realization that changes how the characters sees a particular situation. This moment give your chapter weight and purpose. When you have this in your mind, your chapters are going to be good. Your chapters are going to be good. Now, why strong endings don't explain everything? If you end your book in a strong way, it's self-explanatory to your readers. Now, I'm going to tell you the reason why it is self-explanatory. Weak endings explains. When your ending is weak, it explains. Why a strong ending has trust. Your readers, they don't want you to explain, or maybe for you to come online and say, or maybe you now write in the comment section, this is why this thing was. Once you end your book, let them understand it just like that. Because it is self-explanatory to them. So readers, number one, readers do not need every emotion to be spoken about. You don't need to speak. Instead, write how they feel. Do not, whenever you're writing, they'll tell you, speak less, sorry, speak more, and yeah, speak less, sorry, trying to remember. Speak less and, write more. I think so. Yeah. You need to reduce the way you talk and let your character emotions speak more than what they say. I don't know if anyone knows someone I just explained to just say something and let me know if you understand what I'm saying. When you are writing your ending of your book, let your emotion let it speak more than you talking. So that is what emotion ending your book is all about. And readers, they don't want the future of that book to be confirmed. Neither do they want you to answer every question that they have. They don't want you to do all those things. Just write what they want, what they can understand, what they like, and you're good to go. Now, over explaining your book at the ending removes every mystery and emotional feeling. When you over explain your book, all the old feeling that your reader is supposed to feel when reading your book will be gone. And it will remove the mystery. Like that's happy, that excitement your reader is supposed to feel when reading your book. It will not be there. So over explaining your book removes things like that. I'm trying to rush because it's almost 3 o'clock, so we don't go beyond that. What now? Just right, this is the last part. What a strong ending does instead. Number one, a strong ending confirms emotional change. Number two, strong ending reflects the story core question. What I said this thing yesterday. Ask yourself, what is the story core of my book? I don't know if you guys remember when I said, you guys, is the practical among the practical questions of yesterday. What is the the story core of my book? Every story has a core. Every story has a core. So when you are ending your book ending should explain or should answer that's your story core. Should give it an answer. And about the last one is a strong ending leaves an emotional impression rather than a summary. You don't have to summarize. It's self-explanatory. Now, this is a takeaway scene. We're already done with today's class. So this is a takeaway scene. So you cannot write this in a key takeaway. Number one, every scene is just like points you need to just know. Number one is every scene should cause a change. That is, every chapter should cause your characters to change. Number two, emotional turning points gives your chapters meaning. Emotional turning points gives your chapters meaning. Number three is strong ending trusts the readers. Strong ending trusts the readers. Number four is explanation weakens impacts. You don't have to over-explain. Let your characters' emotions and their dialogue speak for you. As a writer, too much narration or narrating when you're writing, it's not necessary. You're overwriting, you're over-explaining. So they said, do not do that. And the last one is space, emotions allows your story to linger in the hearts of your readers over a long period of time. Even with 10 years, like I said, I read Purple Hibiscus. Even till today, everything is in my head, like it's in my head. I mean, I remember everything about that book. Even if it's been over 10 to 15 years, I still remember everything. That is what should be your main goal as a writer. Let my book linger in the hearts of my readers. Don't let my readers just read my book and just forget about it. Or some people will say, after all, I'm making my money, so I'm fine. Mm-mm. Let your book linger in the hearts of your readers. So now I'm going to I'm going to give a practical exercise. We're done with today's class already. We're done with today's class, but this is just the practical exercise. The first one is write a natural voice tone. You're not giving it to me. You can just write it like on your own, you know. The first one is write in a natural, honest tone. The second one is what changes in a particular chapter. What changes in a particular chapter? The third one is did the emotion feel clearer or deeper instead of over-explained? Did the emotion feel clearer or deeper instead of over-explained? The next one is, did writing with restraint feel different? Did writing with restraint feel different? Now, the last one is, what did I remove, like you, the writer, what did you remove that made the scene or your chapter stronger? What did you remove that made the scene stronger or your chapter stronger? So we all should know that reflection reinforces learning and builds confidence. Reflection is all these things I just say a lot that you guys should reflect. This is a reflection. This what changes the scene, all these things I just said now, they are reflection. So after this class, when you reflect on them, it will help you to build confidence when writing. So everyone, we have come to the end of today's class. I'm so sorry. Today's class was long. I'm so sorry. So we are done with today's class. And because of time, we're going to put the Q&A section together with the interactive section. And we just have only 10 minutes. 10 minutes for that. So now if you have any question, this is question time. And please, this question time, I will not be the only one giving answers. As I said, it's going to be the same, like together with the interactive class. We're going to interact, everybody present, we're going to interact together. So if you have any question, please identify. We have to be fast because we've exceeded time. If you have any question, please let me know. If you have a question, please feel free, because this is the last class of this workshop. And after today, I don't know, maybe when next meeting will be in March, because I plan to do another workshop in March. And hopefully you guys will also turn up in March. But this is the last class for this particular workshop. So please, if you have any question, let me know. Let me know. I'm waiting. Any question, anybody? Any question? If you have a question, please feel free to ask. We don't have much time to waste because we need to leave. No question? Okay, praise. Apart from praise, who else? Apart from praise, who else? Who else? Please feel free. Even if you feel your question might sound too simple, or maybe just ask. It's your question. Is there any other person again? Okay. Someone say, man, can we use AI to check grammar or corrections? Sure, you can use AI, but the AI tool, sorry, Abraham, Prince, please, can you hold on? Let me answer this question. The AI tool you can use to check for grammar is Grammarly. Do not use ChatGPT. Use Grammarly. Grammarly is the only AI tool I recommend personally when you want to edit. So if you want to edit that will not look like you use AI to write, make use of Grammarly. You can download the app. I know most of us would know about Grammarly already. Download Grammarly. Use Grammarly to edit your chapters. That's the only AI tool I can recommend for editing a chapter. So that is it. The next question is, okay, you said plot is temporary and feeling is permanent. Okay. Does this mean, I'm just sorry, I'm trying to, does this mean the word building can be weak if the emotional acts are well written? I'm glad you asked this question, but please do not mistake my words when I say emotional arc or emotional feeling. Yes, emotional feeling is very important. It's very, very important. And when I say your emotional feeling should be more, your word building too should be okay on its own. Don't do a weak word building. There's no way your word building will be weak and your emotional, you'll be like, I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say. Your word building should be strong already. Let your plot be okay. Your plot be, yes, let it be okay. But your emotions will be the one that will bring that plot alive. That's what I mean by let your emotions be more than your plot. I'm not saying that because your emotions should be more, you will not have a weak plot. Please, that's not what I mean. Your plot should be okay, but your emotions should be stronger. One will always be above another. Let your emotion be the one that will be above. But your plot on its own will be strong. So have a strong plot, but have a stronger emotion. Strong plot, stronger emotion. So I hope this answers your question. Okay, thank you very much. The next one is, how can one know if his or her story lacks emotion? Okay, how can you know when your book lacks? That's a tricky question. Number one reason I can say if you know your book lacks emotion is when, number one, if you're on this like reading apps like Good Novel, Good Novel and likes, once you see that your readers drop or your reading retention drops, that is it. you will know that your book already lacks emotion, even if you're not done with that book. Or once your book retention goes low, apart from people that are writing in app, maybe you're just a normal writer. If your client should not come back to you, say for instance, like a ghostwriter, you write, and your client stop giving you work, your emotions are weak. Or if you are writing, we have to be honest with ourselves. Because me, whenever I'm writing, I read my book like as if I'm the reader reading the book. I don't just write and just submit. I go back to my chapters to read. See if it's a book that I'm reading by myself, like it's not written by me. And whenever I read a particular chapter and I feel that this thing is not really giving what it's supposed to give, I don't know if you understand this phrase I just said. I will know that this is something I have to work on, or I have to correct. So as a writer, we should all have that instinct. Go back to chapters you've written. Go back to your written chapters. Read your chapters again and see that, okay, this particular one, that is if you're not, okay, this implies to everyone. This implies to everyone. But if you're writing on all those like good novel, alpha novel, all those book platforms, once your book retention drops, just know that that's just how you show that your book lacks emotions. So I hope that's Glory. I hope that answers your question. Praise, please hold on. You will ask your question last. Since yours is, you have to see it. Please let me just answer these questions here. Next question is, can you give a brief explanation on how on showing and not tell? Okay, yeah. Thank you very much for that. How to show and not tell. Example is she's angry. You are telling. He is angry. You are telling. Showing is he clenched his fists, his jaw, he tightens his jaw, maybe his eyes, he squeezes his eye. When trying to show you your character's emotion, that is showing. You are not telling, you are showing. I don't know if this makes sense. Telling is you just saying it directly, or maybe you can say, my mother died. Her mother died. Maybe to say, or her mother died, or maybe you can write, she's crying. She is crying. You are telling your readers already what she's doing, and your readers don't want you to tell them. They want you to show them that, yes, so this character definitely is crying. And how do you write it? Instead of you writing she's crying, you can write tears flowed directly from her eyes. She blinked her eye, and a tear dropped from her eye. That is you showing. You're letting your readers see that her dropping tears from her eye means that what she's crying. So instead of you writing she's crying, you just use that one. For instance, someone is in labor, she wants to give birth. So you to write she's in labor. That is telling. That's what you are telling. These are examples now. So you're writing she is in labor. That is telling. Just write the hip or the pain exceeded, the pain enlarged, or what happens when a woman is giving birth. You write how she's feeling, or you can write she screams. She screams as the doctors holds her and tries to tell her to push. That is in labor. You're trying to show them that she is in labor, without you telling them directly that she's in labor. I don't know if you understand. If you understand what I just explained by telling and not showing. I don't know if anybody understands, please just wave your hand. This is what it means by telling and not showing. So as a writer, you need to show your character. You need to show your readers how your characters are feeling. That is when emotions comes in play. Instead of you telling them, they don't want you to tell them. Don't tell them. They don't want that. They want you to show them. They want to see. Now they say, what they call it, it's better for those who have seen with their eyes, even if they're not seeing the characters with their eyes. Them reading your book is they're being in that story already. So they want to see. They don't want you to tell them. Don't tell me. Show me instead. Or you can say, show me the way. Don't tell me how to fish. Instead, teach me how to fish. That is just the explanation of all these things. So you need to show them instead of telling them. So I hope, Taiwo, I hope this answers your question. Please let me know so I can jump to the next person. Okay, how to get stories. Okay, next question is how to get story ideas apart from reading. Watch a movie. I said this yesterday. You can watch a movie. You can go out with friends. You can interact with people. You can even join communities. There are lots of communities like that online, on Facebook. Okay, recently I attended there's the biggest book read a book sorry They call it Eke Art. I don't know if you know about it. It happens in Lagos every year. It's the biggest book festival in Nigeria. So I was opportunity to attend it this last year. That was 2025. It was at Ikeja, and a lot. Even Wole Soyinka was present. That was my ever first time seeing that man. I saw a lot of big writers. Wole Soyinka was present, Fela Kuti's song was present. That's why these are communities. You can join communities, join book festivals. Not only in Nigeria. I'm so sorry I'm using Nigeria as an instance because that's where I live. You can join book clubs. There are lots of book clubs, not just in Lagos, not just in Nigeria, even in India. There are lots of book clubs. Join book clubs. It's very important to have as a writer, you cannot stay alone, no. You cannot be alone if you want to be, let me say writing is what you want to do as a career. You can never be alone. You need to join writers and writing groups. Even if you're not the outgoing person that can be going for, festivals, book readings, you can join them online. There are lots of book communities online, maybe on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter. There are a lot. You can just go on Facebook and just search book communities. There are also book clubs. There are book clubs. Once in a while, you guys gather together to read certain books and talk about your books. There are lots of communities that here in Lagos, in Nigeria, too, in other parts of, if you're not even in Lagos, in other parts of Nigeria, be outgoing. Writers, fine, I say writers, we don't like to associate with people. Please, as a writer, try to have a community. Join a community. If you're not the outgoing person, you can join online, join a community. So these are ways you can get idea apart from you just reading. Going to watching a movie, joining a community, and making research too. Yes, making research. Like as I was saying, this book festival I attended, there was something, a lady, her name is, I don't know if you know about Adesua. She's a popular Nigerian writer. Her name is Adesua. And she said something. I walked up to her and I told her that, okay, see, I'll be launching because I'm launching my first ever hard copy book this month. And I had to walk up to her and tell her, okay, this is how. And she told me something. She said, when you're writing your book, when you're writing your book and you feel that you don't know what you're writing, make research. She said that there was a particular book she wrote, and that book deals with people that has mental issue, like mental, you know what they call mental issue, like all these psychiatric mental issues. Do you know what she did? I was so like moved when she told me this. She said she had to join psychiatric community. She's not having mental issues, oh. That's to tell you how bold. If you want to be a writer, you need to be bold. She had to join them. She went for a class, a physical class. This thing is called therapy, where they all gather. I don't know if you guys watch movies where they will gather together. She joined them. She's okay. She does not have any mental issue or mental illness, but she went there. She joined them, and it was when she was able to communicate with them. She said she just went there for two meetings. She was able to communicate with them. That gave her an idea on the book she wrote. And that book she wrote is a bestseller right now in Nigeria. Is a bestseller. Almost all our books are bestseller, but this particular book is a bestseller. So that was what helped her. So it's not just only you reading. Join people, join communities. Take a bold step. As a writer, be bold. Take a bold step. If you know you really want to write a book that people will say your name in years to come, take bold steps. You don't have to rely on books alone. So I feel that should answer your question already because we're already past time or we're already past time. So the next question, is there any other question before I move to praise? Okay, must all characters show emotion? Yes. As long as they are a character, they must show emotions. Because you as a human being, you have emotion. If you're not happy, you can be sad, you can be angry, you can be hungry, you can, all those things are emotions. So as long as the characters are characters, they should all have emotions. So that is it for that is just it. So please, Praise, quickly ask your question so that we can, close today. Okay, Deborah, your phone, no problem. We are almost at the end. So if you want to leave because of your phone issue, you can go. Thank you so much. So Praise, please quickly, can you just ask your question so that we can, close today? But I have an announcement. I have an announcement to make, which is why I want everybody to stay to the end, because an announcement I have to make regarding the these certificates. Okay, let me make the announcement now. So anybody that leaves because of their phone dying, Trace, please, you ask the question. Please, the announcement I'm going to make is that apart from your certificates, as people that joined yesterday and today, apart from your certificates, and those, I gave exemptions for those that had network issues yesterday or login issues. And I know them because they came to me. If you did not come to me to complain yesterday that you had login issues, I'm sorry. No, I'm not going to hand you certificates. It's only those that came to complain to me, to my DM, that see, I'm going to make an exception for. So the announcement is that apart from your certificates, I'm also going to give out a testimonial. Yes, I am giving everybody a testimonial. That's people that qualify for certificates. You're going to get a testimonial. So this testimonial, you can use it to apply for jobs. You can use apply for jobs. You can use it to apply for jobs, or maybe on LinkedIn, on Fiverr. I'm doing this from the goodness of my heart because I really had a good time, teaching you guys yesterday and today. But to create that testimonial, I'm going to send that before the end of today. Please, so everybody always check your your email, please. I'm going to send some questions to you all through your email. And that is the answers, the answers to the questions is what I'm going to use to make the testimonial for everybody. So please, I'm going to send you some questions on your email. The questions is just about this whole workshop we did, just like a feedback. So please, once you receive the email by the end of today, reply, reply to those questions. It's just few questions, like 4 or 5 questions. Reply, give it your best reply, your best response. Even if you want to write, give it your best response and send them back to me via email, not WhatsApp. But if you're having issues sending email, you can send on WhatsApp. But I need you to respond to the email. And once I get your response, I get the response to the questions. That is what I'm going to use to make your testimonial. So if you really want your testimonial, please answer these questions and send your answers back to me. It is very important because if I don't see your answers, I might just only give you certificates. And if you are good with that, no problem, no problem. But the testimonial is to help you get jobs online. It will help you get jobs online. So I'm going to send everybody the email before the end of today. So you answer the questions and you send it back to me. The second announcement is in the group last night, I posted a guide. I don't know if anybody would have seen it. I posted a guide on the group. The guide is write, earn, and repeat. It's a guide for writers. Even if you're not in Nigeria, even if you're on anywhere, as long as you're a writer, that book is very, very important. That book is very, 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 very important. But you have to purchase it to get it. And it's just 1,000 naira. It is very cheap. It is just 1,000 naira, 8,000 naira, and it's over 38 pages. It is over 38 pages, and that guide will guide you more. It's just like a summary and a pack, and even more. Most of the things I did not speak due to time. Yesterday, we had a lot to talk about yesterday, but because of time, I did not speak more. Like I didn't say much as I was supposed to like talk about with you guys yesterday. So everything is already in that guide. So if you can get it, it's not compulsory. It's just to help you as as you write forward. It's just 1,000 naira, just 1,000, 1K. Try and get it. If you want to get it, you can send me a DM. I will send you the link. And it's something that you will have for the rest of your life. It's just like a free knowledge. But it's not compulsory. It will benefit you. It is just beneficial. You understand? So if you want to get it, you can get it. So these are the only announcements for today. The test, send your answers back to me before the end of today so that I can use it to prepare your testimonial. And you will get the testimonial along with your certificates. Once it's ready, I will let everybody know. So please ask your questions so that we can end this class. Is she still here? I'm so sorry I took your time. Praise.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, quickly ask so
Can
we
you
can
hear
end
me?
this class.
All right. Thank you so much, ma'am, for the insightful class. So my
You're
question
welcome.
is concerning ending your book as a whole, ending a book. Now, in an instance where your novel or your story, like you've done all the things that you need to be done, and we don't want the ending to be flat. What are your thoughts, or what's your advice for an open-ended um ending, in the sense that you don't give like a full answer to maybe a question that has been ringing from the beginning of the story. What I mean is sometimes some books end with cliffhangers and
Mm-hmm.
everyone is still wondering, okay, so what happens next? So is that advisable when you're writing a story and then you've come to the end? I'm talking about an instance where it's not, where you don't intend for it to be a series. Some
Okay.
authors just like to do open-ended. They just like to say, okay, I believe my readers are intelligent enough to come
Okay.
up with what should be the ending of this book. So is that
Okay.
advisable or should it be avoided? So that's my question. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for that question. The truth is that what is when you say something is an end, what do you mean by an end? What is something coming to an end? What does that mean? It's the end, right? It's end. It's ended, like that's the end. So why do you want to put a cliffhanger at the end of your book? It makes no sense. You're not doing a movie. There's only people that are, let me say, movies that can do that. But as a writer, there is no need for that. Only if your book is a series, maybe you have a continuation, you're good to go. But as long as that is the last chapter of the entire book, please give your readers an ending. It can be a tragedy, it can be happily ending. Just give it an ending. Just please give it an ending. Do not put a cliffhanger. If you check your dictionary or Google what end, what does end mean? End means the end. It has finished, it is finished. So when something is finished, why do you want to put a cliffhanger at the end of at the last chapter? It makes no sense. So I don't advise that. I only advise that when you are writing a series, or maybe you are into screenwriting. Maybe you are doing screenwriters write books for movies. That's a different case. But as long as it's fiction, you're writing a story, a novel, just end it. But you can decide if you want it to end in a good way, like that is happy ending or a tragedy. It's up to you, but please give it an end. So that is the only thing I can say about it. Are you okay with this? Are you okay with this? Okay, Cheta said she has an opinion or something to add. Okay, Cheta, please, you can talk so we can close. We've spent enough time.
Okay, about this ending issue, I don't know if you can hear me. About this
I can hear
ending
you.
issue.
Yes.
Okay, like novels like Half of a Yellow Sun,
Okay.
the novel as it was going, even to the ending, we never got an answer to what happened to Kainene.
Yes.
Even to the ending, we never
Yeah.
got. She just like disappeared. But you know what happened to her based on those that have this like idea of how the Biafra for that kind of situation.
Okay.
Then the ending of Purple Hibiscus, in the sense whereby they showed what actually happened to the father, that sickness that happened in to the father in Purple Hibiscus. We saw that
Yeah.
it was actually the woman, the mother, that was adding that substance to him, to his food for like
Yes.
a long period of months, whereby
Yes.
they couldn't really place what
The
happened.
sickness.
Then
Yes.
the brother had to like, the son had to like take the position, like going to jail and something. We don't know what actually happened again. Did he spend the
Yeah.
entire life there? We don't know. Was he later bailed? We don't really know. But that ending just happens, because ending can be really tricky, because you don't know if you want it to go a particular way, or if you just, okay, does it answer the question of everything that's been happening throughout the chapters or something like that. So to me, I feel I could, how would I put it? I feel I prefer an open ending
Okay.
whereby people can have their thoughts.
No.
What you
Okay.
feel happened, maybe this person has their
Okay.
own
Sorry, can you hear me?
it might not really be a particular in the sense of
Okay.
I'm not a reporter. I'm a detective. I'm looking for Mr. Girl.
So apart from her, please can
Drama.
you go turn down your or the switch off your audio, please?
But I'm young. No man.
Um, sorry, Deborah, please. Okay, thank you. So apart from her, that's very good. That's very nice, and I love it. Well, it's your decision if you want it to be an open ending, no problem. But most readers, they want to
okay.
know the end. They want to know the end. They want you to give them an ending. You understand? They want you to get an ending.
Yeah.
But if you feel you want to keep that, suspense at the end of the book, it is your book, but it is your character's story. It is your book,
Yeah.
but your character's story. So anyone you choose, go ahead with it. It's your book. You understand? But most readers,
Yes.
everybody wants to know the end. What happened at the end? Can you let us know how this story ends? They want to know. They don't like that suspense. They want to know. You understand? That is just the truth. But if you feel you want to give them that little cliffhanger, you're good to go. But they want an end because everything in this life always comes to an end. There's always an end to everything. So that is my own opinion. But I feel if you want it to be an open ending, it's good to go. I don't have any issue with that. It's your novel. But remember that as long as it's your novel, it is your character's story. So your characters have a bigger play in your books, not just you yourself. So that is what I have
Yeah.
for this. Yeah. So any other thing so we can close today's class. Okay. Apart from that, I want to say a very big thank you to everybody. You can start writing down your comments, your comments as we close today. We're about to end today's meeting. You know, type in on the comment section, what you enjoyed about today's teaching or the workshop in general, because this is our last class for this workshop. And just write it down on the chat box, let everybody know how you really feel about today's class. And please, please, please do not forget, I'm going to send the emails with the questions at the end of today. So please, at least tomorrow, or if you can see reply back today, it's amazing. I need you to send me your answers to those questions. It is very, very, very important for me. So you should use and draft out your testimonial because without it, I cannot draft out testimonials. So please, yeah, okay. In a book whereby no matter the ending, there will almost be such an every night. Okay, Joy, you are right too. It seems like everybody here likes open ending. No problem. It's nice, it's amazing. It's your book, like I said, so it's also good. It's also good. But I just feel like most readers love to know what will happen at the end. But keeping that fact too is also amazing. So thank you very, very, very much. thank you so much for attending this workshop, by the grace of God, Almighty, and Allah, anyone with you guys serve, we will have something like this in March. I was towards the beginning of March. So I don't know. Please, you guys should comment in the group. Should I still keep the group? Okay, I don't think I should keep the group because the next workshop will be a different type of workshop. So I'm going to after the testimonials, like after you guys must have gotten your certificate and testimonials, that is when I'm going to remove everyone from the WhatsApp group. So please do not leave the WhatsApp group now because that's what I'm going to use to communicate with you guys regarding your certificate. So please still stay in the group until you've gotten your certificate. Once you get your certificate, you can leave the group. But for now, please stay because I need to, look at my attendance and see the people that attended yesterday and today's class. And those are the only people I'm going to give the certificates. But testimonials, I will give everybody as long as you attended, even if you attended only yesterday or only today. Testimonial is for everybody, which is very important for when you want to apply for a job. But you see that class certificate is only for people that attended yesterday and today, and people that had login issues that came to me to complain. So those are the only people I now going to give certificate. Oh, you're not on WhatsApp. Okay, if you're not on WhatsApp, please, I'll communicate with you via your email. So also please check out for your email too if you're not on the WhatsApp group. But I will advise to please join the WhatsApp. The WhatsApp, it's very important. Please join the WhatsApp group. Please join the WhatsApp group because most of the time, just little informations I would like to just give a quick text than drafting an entire email. So that is the end of today's class. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay, someone said, how do I join? I don't know. Do you have my number? Favor, you can speak, Favor, please. You can speak instead of typing. Do you have my phone number? Maybe you can chat me up.
No, ma, I don't have the phone number. I don't have
Okay,
the phone number.
let me call it. Let me call it out for you. Please write it down. Let me call out my number for you.
Okay, ma.
090
Okay, ma.
47
Yes, ma.
311 double one. That's 311
Yeah, I got it. 311.
702.
Thank you very much, ma.
Okay, you can send me a message now and I will just add you to the group direct. So thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you
you,
so much for joining this workshop. I really, really appreciate. And in March, we will come again together to learn more. So is there anything? I'm about to end the class now. Is there anything? All right, everyone. Thank you so much. And please, I'm saying it again, the email, get back to me with your answers. I'm going to send the questions today. So please, please, please get back to me so I can draft out your testimonial. So thank you so much. And hopefully we'll see again. Have a wonderful day and the rest of your writing career and everything. So thank you so much, everyone. And goodbye.